we need to talk about a topic called as global, or we also call it as member variable, and okay, and what is it? A local variable and local variable. Got the clarity here? Okay, now understood. Great. Now here, imagine I have a class. Class name is A. Okay. Open curly braces, close curly braces. Okay, now inside this particular class, I will declare a variable. See, int x here. Okay, int x equals to 10. Is it a global variable or a local variable? Sir, if you declare a variable within the class limit, if you declare a variable within the class limit, we generally refer it as global variable or member variable. If you declare any variable within the class here, we call it as global variable or member variable. Similarly, sir, I will have one method. Void is the return type, M1 is the method name, open parenthesis close, and open curly braces close here. This is the method here. Okay, now this method is accepting certain arguments. See, int y, okay, and int z here. So now y and z are local variables or global variables. Sir, if a variable is declared within a specific scope, we generally refer it as, okay, we generally refer it as what? Local variables. Okay, in simple terms, if you declare a variable within a class, its member. If a variable is declared within a specific scope here, they are called as local variables. Okay. Similarly, I will have a constructor. Sir, class name is A. The constructor name will also be A here, right? Open curly braces, close curly braces. And here I will accept int I, okay? And here I'll write it as int j. So are they local variables or global variables? Okay, it's local. Why? Sir, this variable I and j are declared within a specific scope. Therefore, we generally refer it as what? Local variables. Got the clarity here? So how do you differentiate between a member variable and local variable? If a variable is declared within a class, it's member variable. Apart from that, if you find declaration in one specific scope here, we call it as local variables. Okay. Member variables are also called as global variables because we can access it globally. Everywhere throughout the class we can access. But local variables can be accessed only within that scope. Meaning this y and z can be accessed only within that scope. And this I and j can be accessed only within that scope. I can do anything only within that block, okay? Outside that block, I cannot do anything. But if it's a global variable, I can access it wherever I want throughout the class. Within this method also I can access, within this constructor also I can access. So global variables can be accessed throughout. Got the clarity here? Understood? Clear? Now here, generally speaking, when I spoke about variables, I told you this topic, okay? So what was the topic here? I told you this part, okay, if you all remember, okay? What are variables? Sir, variables are nothing but containers to store something. Okay, what are variables? Variables are a container to store something. They are generally classified into two types. What are those two types I told you? I told you one is called as member variables, or we generally refer it as global variables. Okay, and another one is local variables. And global variables are further classified into two types. One is called as static variables, another one is called as non-static variables. Clear? Understood here? So now, if I have a class A, okay now. So now here, I will have two variables. See, int x is one variable and int y. X and y are member variables or local variables. Sir, it's member variable, sir. Why? If a variable is declared within the class directly, we call it as member variable or global variable. And that member variable or global variable can either be static or non-static. So this is a member variable only, but it's a static variable. It's a member variable only, but it is non-static. Understood? Variables are containers to store some data, okay? And member variable meaning a variable which is declared within the class, and that can be accessed globally throughout the class. And they are further classified into static and non-static. If a variable is declared using static keyword, it's static. If not, it is non-static. And what are local variables? If it is declared within a specific scope, within the method if it is present, within the constructor if it is present, within a specific block it is present, they are all called as local variables. Got the clarity? Okay. So just look at the notes which I have here. Okay. So just look at the notes which I have here. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So here just closely observe. You'll only get the complete clarity of this entire topic here. Okay. See, what are global or member variable and local variables here? Okay. Global or member variables are those variables which are declared within the specific, which is declared within the class limit. If a variable, if you find the declaration in the class, it's a global variable and they can be accessed globally, meaning throughout you can access, and they are further classified into static, non-static. And local variables are declared within a specific limit, okay, such as a method or a constructor, and they are accessible only within that specific scope. We cannot access it outside. So whatever I told theoretically, okay, I've written it down over here. I have documented it as well. Okay. Now I go back to my program. Okay. Now it's common sense. Control N, and I will create a class called as kangaroo. Okay, and I'll write it as package level because you don't want public access specifier. No, so I'll write it as package, and then I'll tell finish. Okay, now done. So you understood the beautiful class here, right? Now I'll have a variable double height equals to, okay, 5.5. Firstly, you need to understand, sir, is it a member variable or a local variable? Sir, I am not blind, sir. It is present within a class, sir. Therefore, it's a member, or we can also call it as global variable. Understood? This is a global variable. And secondly, it's a global variable. We understood it's a member variable. But is it static or non-static? Sir, it's non-static, sir. Why? Because it is not declared. We are not declared using static keyword. So this is nothing but non-static. Are you all able to understand here? It's a member variable. Member variable, again we have static, non-static. But since there is no static keyword, it's non-static. Clear? Done. Very good. Then I have a method void. Display is the method name. Open parenthesis close. Open curly braces now. Now I have double x equals to 4.4. Is this a local variable or a member variable? Sir, this is a local variable, sir. Why? Because we have declared within a specific scope. This x has been declared within a specific scope. Therefore, it is local to that method. They can be accessed only within that method. So therefore, it is a local variable. Got the clarity? It is a local variable. Understood? We are done with this respective part here. Now here, apply common sense. You need to apply the common sense over here. Okay. Now what I'll do, I will change the variable name. Okay. HEIGHT. If you could closely observe, sir, the local variable and the member variable names are same. Is it possible? Absolutely possible. Okay. Local variables and member variable names can be same. Okay. Doesn't matter. But what is important, I will tell you now. What is important, I will tell you now. I'll have my main method wherein I will create an object of kangaroo, k equals to new kangaroo, and when I tell k dot display, what will be the output? Now it's your task. What is it, sir? I created my execution starts from main method. I created an object and I'm calling the display method. Why? Because it's a non-static method. Here, the local variable height and the member variable height, both the names are same. Now, when I try to print the height, will it print 4.4 or will it print 5.5? Okay, you have to think and tell me. Quickly tell me, guys. Let me. You all predict it, okay? If you're wrong, we will understand, okay? Na? So, yeah, 4.4 or 5.5. Think and tell me. Think. Analyze. Okay. So now here, you get the output, okay? You can see the output for yourself, okay? You'll only get the output here, okay? So you got the output as 4.4. How? Sir, when the local variables and the member variable names are same, always the local variables will dominate. Okay, local variables will have lot of power. So therefore, within that scope, the local variable value will be pointed, that is 4.4, because local variables will dominate. Therefore, in order to differentiate, in order to access the member variable, we will make use of a keyword. What is that keyword? This dot height. When I tell this dot height, I'm getting the output as 5.5. Meaning this keyword is used to point to the current object's variable. So kangaroo is the current object, correct? And that height is a non-static variable. So which is the current object? Kangaroo object. So when I tell this dot height, it is pointing to the current non-static variable that is present within the object. That is nothing but height here. So I get the output as 5.5. Got it? So what is the actual meaning of this? I will tell you now. Okay, don't worry about it. So now if you could closely scroll the notes here, I have written the data. In Java, okay, what is it here? In Java here, I have told one data. What is it? In Java, we can have both member variable and local variable same. Then what happens here? Local variables will always dominate it. Okay, local variables will always dominate it. In order to avoid it, okay, we make use of its keyword this. And what is this keyword? This is a keyword which is used to point to the current object or instance. This is the most important point. What is this keyword? This is used to point to the current instance or the current object. Okay, now got the clarity? So now we will talk about it in detail here. We will talk about this particular concept in detail here. Let me give a couple of examples here. So one program you understand, guys, we're done. Okay, one program closely. Now here, I will have a class. See, class, and the class name is, I will write it as person. Okay, now done. Open curly braces and close curly braces. Right? Now here, each and every person will have two properties. What is it? Int age, okay, and string name. So every person will have two properties, age and name here. Got it? So person class, it has two properties, that is age and name. Okay. Now I want to initialize them with the help of a constructor. Sir, class name, constructor name should be same. So the class name is person. So the constructor name will also be person. Okay. Open parenthesis close and open curly braces close. Right. Now here I need to make sure, okay, the constructor will accept certain arguments because I want to initialize the age and name. No. So the constructor has to accept certain arguments. So the constructor will also accept the age, okay, and he will also accept the name. But these are all local variables. Why? This age and name is declared within the specific scope. So it's a local variable, right? But what is the logic of initialization over here? So since the local variable and the member variable names are same, I have to use this dot age equals to age here. Okay. Similarly, this dot name equals to name here. Sir, what are you trying to do, sir? I will explain it, guys. Do not worry about it. Okay. So now here I will differentiate it in a beautiful manner. Okay. So now here I will have my main method. Public static void main, string array of arguments, open curly braces and close. Now concentrate everyone. Okay. Firstly, I will create one object. See, person P1 equals to new person of. I am creating an object of person. Got the clarity? Now, if I'm creating an object of person, since the person constructor is accepting certain arguments, I need to pass those values. So the age of person 1 is 20 and his name is Tom. I am passing those respective values. See, age and name. So age is 20 and the name is Tom. I'm passing multiple arguments. Okay. Now internally what will happen? Sir, when I tell new, an object will get created internally, sir. Okay, what will get created internally? One object will get created internally. And what is the address of the object? 111. And who is pointing to that object? P1. Okay, and what is the job of the object? To store the non-static properties within the memory. So the age will get initialized to 0 because the default value for int is 0 and the name will get initialized to the default value none. Okay, because it's string, right? And simultaneously, okay, and the constructor will also get called slowly. The control will go to the constructor. And what is the age I'm passing? It is 20. And what is the name I'm passing? It is Tom here. So the age and name is Tom, 20 and Tom here. So when I tell age, it is pointing to the local variable age, that is 20. The 20 is getting stored into a variable age of the current object. This meaning current object. So which is the current object? P1. In P1, the age is getting initialized to 20. Similarly, what is the name? The name is nothing but Tom. The Tom is getting stored into a variable name of the current object, which is the current object P1. So P1 dot name will get initialized to Tom here. Understood the importance of this keyword here? It is used to point to the current object. Similarly, can you do it for one more object, sir? I can. Person P2 equals to new person of. I create an object of one more person. But what is the value? Person's age is 22 and his name is, I'll write it as Tim. Okay, what is his name? Tom Tim. Okay, now internally what is happening? Sir, when you tell new sir, one object is getting created, sir. Okay, one object is getting created with the address 222 and who is pointing? P2 is pointing, right? And then simultaneously, I have to store the non-static data. That is, age will get initialized to the default value 0 and the name will get initialized to the default value null here. And simultaneously, what is happening over here? The constructor is also getting executed. Just how the control goes, the control goes here. What is the age I'm passing now? 22. And what is the name I'm passing now? Tim here. So the age is 22. That is getting stored into a variable age of the current object, which is the current object now, P2. In P2, the age will get initialized to 22. And the name is Tim. Tim will get stored into a variable name of the current object, which is the current object P2. In P2, the name will get initialized to Tim here. This is all about the data initializing the content. So I can just print their respective details. P1.age, P2.age, P1.name and P2.name. I can print those respective content. So what is P1.age, P2.age, P1.name, P2.name? I'll get the respective content. This is all about the respective content here. Got it? Understood here. I go back to my program here. I go back to my Eclipse. So now I'll create a class called as person. Okay, I create a class called as person. Okay, now here in person class, each and every person will have two properties. That is int age and then string name. Correct? So the every person will have two properties, that is age and name. So therefore, okay, now I want to initialize it. So class name, constructor name same, open parenthesis close, open curly braces close here. Okay, now what should the constructor do here? The constructor should accept. See, I want to initialize the age and name. So I can write it as int age, comma, string name. So it should accept both arguments. You might tell, sir, can I give the variable names as different, sir? Possible. Why will you give it as a and n here? It should be a good standard, no? That is the reason I give it as age and name only. But now here, since the local variables and the member variable names are same, the local variables will always dominate. But I need to point to the current, the member variable. No, so I'll tell this dot age equals to age here, and this dot name equals to name here. That's it. If you want to cross check, press Control on your keyboard. Press Control on your keyboard. Hover on the method. Click on the method. Can you see where is it taking to? It's taking me to the local variable. Press Control on your keyboard. Hover on the method. Click on the method variable. Where is it taking to? The member variable. Press Control on the keyboard. Hover on the variable. Click on the variable. It's pointing to the local variable. Press Control on the keyboard. Hover on the variable. Click on the variable. See, it's pointing to the global variable. So that is the reason we make use of this keyword. And then I will have my main method wherein the execution will always begin from, but generally I told curly braces, we follow it in the same line. Okay, we generally try to have the curly braces in the same line. So I will create an object of person. Person P1 equals to new, person of age is 20, and the name is Tom. Okay, and the name is Tom here. Again, person P2 equals to new, person of. Okay, and what is the name? Name is 22, and the name I can give it as anything. I'll just give it as Tim here. Got it? So now here, so I'll just print the person details. See, person details. Okay, I can do it in a beautiful manner here. Okay, person details. So I'll just write it as sys out. Okay, name colon p1 dot name here. I have to print the person one name and some spaces plus age colon. So I'll give it as p1 dot age here. So that way, I'm trying to print the content here. So now when I execute it, look at the output here. Okay, just a moment. Yeah, right. So now when I execute it, look at the output, what I get here. See, person details, okay, person details, name Tom, age 20, okay, name Tim, age 22. So that way, you'll get the output in the brilliant manner here, okay, in a beautiful sentence format here. If you don't want this, you can delete it also. It works fine. So now when I execute it, did I get the expected content here? Yes, I got the expected content here. See here, name Tom, age 20, name Tim, age 22. So this is all about constructors, this keyword, and a lot of important topics which we have covered here. Got the clarity here? This is all about the entire process, guys. Okay, we know what is global variable and local variable. If a variable is present inside a class, it's global. Member, okay, we call it as member. We can access it throughout. Local is specific to that specific block. Okay, within that block, if I write it, so it is that specific block. Okay, and this keyword, it is used to point to the current instance or the current object. Because generally what happens, the local variables and member variable names, if it's same, no, then there is some ambiguity created. So therefore, this is used to differentiate between the member variable, the current objects variable and the local variable. Okay, so these are the few things which we need to understand.